This I got to do. The title of this one, welcome to the show, by the way. You're watching House Sparks Mega Worldwide, and I think that shows taste and breeding on your part. Now, we run into some of these people on Twitter, and they pop up now and again, but some of them don't go long form anywhere, or if they do, it's so long, like, why even fucking bother? Oh, my God. Yeah, it's 3:18 exactly, the Don Jr. video. So, this is Kevin Sorbo. Look at the fucking title of this thing. Kevin Sorbo said no to woke Hollywood and yes to independent success. And yes to independent success. This is that's the thumbnail. Look at the tiny little type and then there's like Hollywood. Is this, please tell me they're playing a video that Kevin Sorbo gave Joey Pags. Fuck, that, like, it's just like, that alone is fucking embarrassing to look at. Jesus Christ. All right, I need to see this.
Great to have you along for the ride. Thanks a lot for stopping by. Really glad to have
Hey, we're really going to be super good.
this guy back. It's Kevin Sorbo. He, of course, is a great actor. He's a great producer. He's still making movies, even in this woke culture that we live in, and he just doesn't care what...
Hang on. You said a lot of courses on the great actor part. Citation needed, fucko. Hold on, what is this videos? I gotta shut this one down to make this one play.
What Hollywood has to say, because he's making great work and great films. How are you, Kevin?
Yeah, it's great work, great films. It's great. It's just great. I'm great.
Good to see you.
I'm doing great. Loving it down here in
He's great. It's great.
Florida. We're at 84 degrees. I checked with my buddies back in Minnesota where I grew up. They're 5 below zero. I said, You can keep it.
I'm at 79
So he's calling Mike Pillow.
degrees here in central South Texas, but
Great. I wanted to be with Sorbo alone and talk about the weather.
grew up in South Florida, so I understand that.
Funny how time flies.
Christmas is an 80-degree thing there. By the way,
Oh, God.
thank you for taking a few minutes at Mar-a-Lago back in May for the premiere of 2,000 Mules. I brought my mom as my date. She had a big birthday.
Yeah.
And
Yikes. That scares me. Well, that's not a euphemism, is it?
you were very nice to us both. It was great to meet you
That's weird.
face to face. Thank you for...
Normally, when he meets people's elderly mothers, he's such an asshole. But, I give him points for being friendly. Because normal people aren't that way.
Oh, thank you for taking the time coming up and saying hello. That place was packed. It was so hard to meet everybody you want to meet. I found out there was like at least 20.
By the way, did this happen when he moved to Florida? Or is this anybody else? He's turning into Marco Rubio. Is Kevin Sorbo, he's got the haircut. If he drinks water in the middle of this fucking thing, I'm convinced that he's doing the Marco Rubio story. Listen to his voice. Is that just me?
20 more friends that were there that I had no idea. We said, yeah, I was there. Where were you seated?
Hold on one second. Give me a second. This is just odd.
Well, ideally, what should happen here is that the rail workers and the rail lines should come to an agreement on their own.
So it was just very crowded. I was just there. I was there when the president announced that he's running again.
But if they're going to come to Congress and they're going to ask Congress to intervene and actually impose the deal, I'm not voting for a deal that the workers themselves have rejected. A deal that was cut by labor bosses.
Is it just me?
For that event.
Nice.
And, look behind me, we see about 30 different.
All right, I can't unsee it now. I can't. Like, he's turning into fucking Marco Rubio right before our eyes. That might be the most... I mean, congrats to Marco Rubio for being, one odd degree of separation from Hercules.
Different these media people there with all their cameras and lights.
Fucking media people there promoting the thing as they were asked and paid to do. He's talking about maybe he's talking about the announcement.
And I said, do you realize like 95% of those people hate us?
Yeah, they totally do. Yeah, almost everybody at RSBN, except the ones that are fucking Marjorie Taylor Greene, which could be all of them at this point. We don't know.
It's true.
Allegedly.
They're covering it, aren't they?
Yeah, they certainly were, and they all got better ratings because Donald Trump was doing something, and of course, your inclusion doesn't hurt either.
Wait. Fuck off. All right. I guess that's a mile away from saying it. I mean, it certainly doesn't help. Will it hurt? No. Is there a gadfly aspect? Like, Jesus Christ, Kevin Sorbo is here. Might help, I guess.
What's interesting to me is that they...
Yes. Is you, Kevin Sorbo. I find you very interesting.
Really, really hate the guy, but they really, really don't want him to go away. I mean...
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. They didn't ask him to run. They didn't ask him to do any of this shit. If the media takes the piss out of like every president, and none of them are like, why isn't George W. Bush post-Iraq war showing up at more events? Why isn't he doing rallies? I mean, they do that with Obama in a positive sense.
Even when he doesn't do anything for a week and he's out golfing, the entire week will be, the big media making news about him. He's a bad guy. His son did this. Look at his granddaughter. Look at his niece hates him or whatever.
Yeah, that's because she does. And that's because his son is engaged in a lot of sketchy shit.
What is that?
What is that? Is it because his family are a bunch of like strap hanging, like fame whores who are constantly thrusting themselves into the limelight and contribute nearly nothing except for occasionally humor on my show to the national discourse?
Because they're afraid to give up what they knew was their bread and butter for so long?
Yes, none of them were able to sell advertising before Donald Trump.
I guess. Don't you find it amazing? Before he actually announced back in 2015,
everybody made a living. It's weird.
Everybody loved him.
Yes.
He was on all
No, they didn't.
the talk shows. He was, the liberals.
He was a joke. And no, not everybody loved him. Get the fuck out of here.
Everybody, the minute he made it,
They just didn't care. He was a harmless, noisemaker. Nobody gave a shit. And he was a clown on The Apprentice. The purpose of The Apprentice was to embarrass the people who were seeking to be his apprentice. The joke of that show is that these assholes are doing all this embarrassing shit to somehow take advice from Donald fucking Trump.
decision, the liberals go nuts and they just attack.
He said in his Chris Matthews interview that women who have abortions should face punishment. That's why. Not because they hate the sound of his fucking stupid voice or his stupid face. There have been plenty of presidents and presidential candidates who talk shit, sound like shit, and look like shit.
They are the party of hate and anger and divisiveness.
Thank you very much. I feel seen.
They love it. They love it. They love it. They thrive on it. And it's just sad to see how bad it's gotten in terms of the divide between the country. And
it is. Thank God Trump was such a unifier. He got us all together. Well, not cross-party lines, just in our homes with the lockdowns.
And I've golfed with the president, and
he barely cheated, and I was always upwind from him. It was not a problem.
I'll tell you what, he's a fast golfer like me, so he has his
yes, he wanted to get it over with and get away from you.
Secret Service go to the next hole ahead to move people over. It's his golf course, but he says the president's coming through. All the members know. When we tee off, he drives over to those people in the fairway, gets out of the cart, shakes their hand, says, "Thank you for being here. We'll be out of your way in a heartbeat." Do you think Obama would have done that on the golf?
No, he would not send the Secret Service ahead to clear holes at his own golf course because he doesn't fucking have one.
Of course.
Well, no,
And by the way, it's not a public golf course. It's members only, fucko. He's glad handing with sycophants and members. The whole purpose of the fucking place is so he can make deals. He's glad-handing, he's rushing ahead to these other polls because there's nothing to get from golfing with Kevin Sorbo. But there might be somebody golfing ahead of you that if you can force yourself into their conversation and go, hey, welcome, thanks. What do you do? Oh, you're a money launderer. Cool. You got a business card? And then he sends the Secret Service ahead to the next hole while he has the conversation with these grifting fucks that have memberships at his clubs. What the fuck are you talking about? Of course he sent the Secret Service ahead. Of course he was in a fucking hurry to meet everybody at his own fucking golf course. That's what people do golf for in the first place, is to make deals and hang out. And, it's like business trips. It's the daytime activity when the strip clubs are fucking closed, in Florida especially. So these guys are standing there. Members are standing there with the people they brought, most of them heavy hitters. They're making a big deal out of it. This is a PGA Tour, blah, blah, blah. And so while they're there, Trump comes in and fucking elbows his way in. That's the point. He's not doing it because he likes America. He's not going to public golf courses ever. He doesn't love... How blind can these fuckers be? And Trump doesn't like the love of the fucking game. It's a means to an end. Just like owning the fucking golf courses is.
Well, that's the thing.
And by the way, half the time he was probably rushing ahead because he's got his dudes listening in on conversations with the mics he puts on his fucking fairways. And his guys are going, these guys are talking about a deal in Abu Dhabi. One of them's friendly to you. If you want to get down there, you could probably close this thing. And he's like, Kevin, move it up. We got to talk to these guys. What am I going to do? Fucking guest star in your next America First direct-to-video clean flicks movie?
Well, Kevin, you and I both know Donald Trump, and he's not that guy.
Right. He's the kind of guy who just hangs out in malls and shakes hands with the average people.
He's a guy who, of course, has golden toilets at Trump Tower and everything else, so he lives lavishly.
Ew.
But at the same time, he's got a worker's mentality. He's almost a blue-collar billionaire.
No, he is not. Get the fuck out of here. Blue-collar billionaires, there are blue-collar billionaires, and most of them don't fucking golf.
When I sat down at the White House in 2017 with him, I was very, very pleased to get the invitation. 5 people were invited, and I sat down with him one-on-one. What a nice guy.
Yeah, he's super nice to people who kiss his butthole for a living. Joey Pags has been a leech on Trump's ass the entire time.
My daughter, who's my executive producer, Sam, your wife is Sam, so we've got something in common there.
Sure.
Wait, it's not the same person.
She was there, and the president sat down and did his greeting with me. I said, oh, by the way, this is my daughter. Popped back up, walked over to... No cameras were rolling. Nobody saw this happening. He was just a nice guy. And
Jesus Christ. Dude, you brought your daughter to this dude. Of course he popped up. He knows daddy issues when he sees them.
I don't think people realize that about him. He's a ruthless businessman, which I like, but he's a really nice guy.
He's a really nice guy. He got engaged in some ruthless business with my daughter. What the fuck are you talking about?
Look at all the time that they spent.
By the way, for the record, this moment that he describes, I hope everybody noticed the fact that Trump didn't get up when there was a woman in the room. He got up because it was Joey Pags' daughter. When it was just a woman producer, he couldn't be fucking bothered. This was another media suck-up moment. This is to make sure that he creates this mythology. If she was hired help, he wouldn't have shaken her hand at all. That's even more telling about how he isn't a blue-collar billionaire. Get the fuck out of here.
Trying to find dirt on his kids. He's been, what, 3 marriages or something?
Or something.
They couldn't find...
We all lose track, Kev.
Anything. And then when Biden... Could you imagine if...
Yeah, why don't you... Go there, buddy. Go there. Go to Biden's marriages.
Hunter Biden, if Biden was a Republican with his son, that stuff, all this stuff that's finally coming out now because of everything that's coming off Twitter and what Musk is finding.
He's finding nothing.
This stuff would have been done.
And by the way, all of it is still out there. Everything that was supposedly held back by the New York Post story, all that stuff's been available for years now. Like all of it. It's why we keep seeing the same fucking picture of him smoking in the tub over and over again.
A long time ago. They would have been attacking him. And I mean, it's incredible to me how biased they are and how hypocritical they are with that bias. I mean, they don't care if they lie. They don't care what they say. There's no...
Yeah, they don't care. They don't care at all. Nobody cares. They've actually been more deferential to Trump than he deserves, simply because they have like a habitual nature around the presidency, quite frankly.
Repercussions for them whatsoever.
Yeah, if it were...
There are no repercussions except, well, come on. Joey Pags and, I'm sorry, your name again, sir, are calling them fake news. That's gotta hurt.
For Don Jr.'s laptop, this would have been the biggest story for the past 3 years because the FBI had its...
Yes, you know what the story would have been if this was Don Jr.'s laptop? You know what my feeling would have been if this was Don Jr.'s laptop? I would have been pissed. You know why I'd have been pissed? Because it would have been passed around by so many people so many times that anything that was on there would be unusable in a court of law. It would have guaranteed he would have walked. That's why I would be pissed if the roles were reversed. But I wouldn't, I'd be more pissed at, can you imagine if there was a laptop dropped off by Don Jr. allegedly, and the hard drive had been copied, and the person who copied it gave it to Huma Abedin, who gave it to Hillary Clinton's lawyer, and they wouldn't release the whole hard drive. They would just print things out from it up until the election, and then they kept it for 2 fucking years. And when a court finally was interested in the contents, they disseminated it so many people that the metadata was completely gone and would only give a 5th generation copy to the authorities. I'd be fucking in a rage because you'd never be able to convict him even if it was all true.
Since 19. It's Kevin Sorbo. He's got a new movie coming out called Left Behind, Rise of the Antichrist.
He's doing a Left Behind movie. Of course he is. Was Kirk sick? Kirk was sick, wasn't he? Oh, God. I can't do I did a piece of the Left Behind movie and I got a copyright strike because I showed it and I was like assholes. And I think, by the way, for the record, it qualified as fair use, I think, because I broke down elements of it and how it differed from, like scripture and how they just made this shit up and how like the acting was shit, like everything necessary. Yes, Left Behind, Rise of the D-list actors. I think it's simpler than that movie. It's like Left Behind, Kevin Sorbo's career.
It comes out what, next month?
Yeah. You don't know? Come on, man. You don't get you're not on the email list? Do you clean flicks or not, bro?
January 26th, go to leftbehindmovie.com, leftbehindmovie.com. You get all the information. We're opening on 1,100 screens across the country.
Oh, yes. And closing the very same day.
It's based off the very popular Left Behind books that sold over 80 million copies.
Nice.
Jerry Jenkins was one of the co-authors of the book along with LaHaye. And his son, Dallas Jenkins, is very popular on doing the series called The Chosen.
Are you producing it and acting in it? One or the other? I just
directed it and I act in it as well.
Okay, so it's a quality endeavor, not this shit that Kirk Cameron was cranking out. His stuff looked like a made-for-TV movie. This is going to look like a made-for-DVD movie.
We got a great cast with Sean McDonough. We got Bailey.
Yeah, Sean McDonough. Sure.
Chase, we got Greg Perot, we got Sarah Fisher, we got Corbin Burnson. We got a great cast.
Corbin Burnson? Come on now. He's got to be the Antichrist. Corbin, please tell me they got you and they let you play the Antichrist if you're going to...
Nice, it sounds great. Also, a big trip to Israel.
I don't know who's behind, by the way.
Coming up next year in May. SorboIsraelTrip.com.
Jesus Christ, he's doing tours of Israel. Oh, God. First of all, the Left Behind novels are unfriendly to Israel, for the record. Also, let's take a look, though. I want to see this. Left Behind movie, whatever, .com. Nope, I'm just getting all these. Right, there it is. As Left Behind movie, Rise of the Antichrist. It's I have to give them credit. This is a great website. It's not like it's cut off on one side at all or unscrollable. No, it's totally, I'm not kidding. It's just a picture. Hold on. Something like, we got to be able to click on this. What's this? Watch here. What is this? Oh, it's a Fathom event. You fuckers. Okay, so it's not opening on screens. So Fathom events, if you don't know, it's a way to do like concerts, live performances. You basically rent a bunch of screens. There's a rule to get in the like academy running that you have to play on 2 screens to clear this hurdle, or whatever. And a lot of people are getting around that. Instead of being chosen by the theater to be played on their screen, they pay their way in by buying the Fathom event time. And you just go to an empty theater, essentially, and that day you get a ticket, and then whatever theater they have that doesn't have a movie in it or doesn't double up, they just pop it in there that day, and you can watch the movie like you know, because there's been other, like I'll show you. They do a bunch of this shit too. Here you go. Upcoming events. Yeah. So they'll do like, big, here you go. Like It's a Wonderful Life play. So you can go see It's a Wonderful Life in the big screen classics. You can see that on the big screen on December 18th and December 21st. And, you know, those kind of things. And then they do, let's see, series, the Met live in HD. Big screen classics from TCM. And then there's comedy specials. There's nothing. I guess I should do that then. There's series, the Performing Arts. Is that in the Premier CL category? Okay, that's the Performing Arts. You can see the play The Hours from the Metropolitan Opera. That kind of stuff. But anyways, the purpose is that they rent the fucking place out. They're not opening in 11 theaters. Shall we watch part of the trailer, or will I get... I mean, by the way, fair use. This is a trailer. It's basically like playing an advertisement. So anybody on YouTube or any of these things that are looking at this shit because they play little bits of music in it, what the fuck is wrong with you?
If someone had told me people were just going to disappear, I, like you, would have said they were crazy.
Was it the rapture?
Yes.
Well, all right. Thanks for answering that. I'm glad. Okay, cool. So it was the rapture. We got that covered. Okay, that's all I needed to know. Was it the... Oh, God. So in this telling, people just vanished. They all happened to be Christians and super devout Christians. They left, their clothes behind. Yummy. And they just poof, they're gone. And somebody's like, you think this was he's in a church, by the way, talking to a dude. Was this the rapture? Yeah. How do you know? Only Christians.
Yes, it was.
Yes.
Are you sure? I mean, are you really...
Oh my God. Oh my God. Please tell me this is the rest of hi. Aw. Hold on.
We have a heartbeat.
Aw.
Please.
Look at this little fella. Hi. What's up, Smokey? Careful. Careful, Smokey. There you go. Smokey wanted to say hi. Hello, darling. How are you? These are, if you weren't with us yesterday, this is one of the kittens we're fostering right now. Hi. Were you sleeping? Were you sleepy, little one? Are you just getting a look around? You're such a sweet thing. You're such a sweet little... I know. This one's such this one purrs very easily. The other one has started purring too, pretty consistently, which is lovely. But yeah, they very much relaxed since yesterday. Yesterday, just shivering up and down the steps. Now this one's just totally good. You good? Yeah, there you go. Hi. Let me go take you over to Mama so you don't jump off. Hi. There you go. Notice it doesn't claw when it's on me to go back to you. When it's with you, it's like, no! And I take it away. And then it's on me and it's just like, yeah, I'm good. You can take me. Wait a little sweet. She's purring, yeah. Super cute. I gotta do I can't just, the kitties are too cute. Where were we? Oh, yes. Terrible trailer. Back this up. Love you. Can I just... this is the trailer for this actual movie. This is not a scene. This is the official trailer. Watch this little... Now, in a trailer, do you want to repeat a moment? Do you want everything to just grab them by the shirt collar and make sure they need to see this movie?
Are you sure? I mean, are you...
Hold on. Back up.
Rapture?
Yes. Yes, it was.
Are you sure? I mean, are you really sure?
I saw it happen.
I saw it happen. You can't see it happen. Everybody vanishes. Well, I guess he was preaching and everybody but the real sinners all got kicked out of church.
Those weren't vanishings.
It wasn't the rapture. The rapture was debunked on the first day.
The second wave of vanishings has thrown the financial markets back into chaos.
Yes, because of all those super devout Christians in the financial industry.
Trust me.
Uh-oh.
You want to make sure you're on the right team. You're already teaching them the art of faith.
That's right. You gotta be on the team of the Antichrist. And only Kevin Sorbo, pilot and confused father.
Fake news?
I just wish I could see you one more time. Why are you still here?
Because I asked God to leave me behind.
We don't need to look for Matt.
Yeah, you don't get to. That's not how it works, fucko. You asked God. I'm not a terrible sinner. I'm not a fake in my faith. I asked permission to stay behind. I was on put me in the left behind column. Yeah, heaven sounds great, but I'd like to stay down here during the 1,000 years of fuckery.
Magic. They're not a bunch of religious wackos.
Wackos like my mom.
Fortunately, we have
Yeah, wackos like my mom who disappeared and is no longer here. Okay.
a solution. We can implement Eden Pay worldwide in a matter of weeks.
Uh-oh, Eden Pay. We don't need the financial markets anymore. We're going to track how everyone buys everything, and therefore we will know. Like the Christians have left, who cares? Again, if you're left behind, it's because your faith wasn't adequate. It's kind of your ass. I mean, isn't the Antichrist like just the prison warden for Earth after everybody gets taken, right?
Welcome to the future.
I gotta look inside the Eden Pay platform.
Oh, God, not the Eden Pay, which, by the way, sounds like a Christian version of PayPal.
And it's a whole lot more than a glorified bank card.
I bet it is. You can't buy or sell anything unless you have the mark on your hand that lets you use it. Why wasn't I allowed to audition for this? I could play one of these characters. Where's my crazed character in Left Behind? You don't understand, man. Hold on. Question, don't corporations currently track our purchases? Exactly. Well, that's the big fear. Remember, there's a big paranoia in the right wing, especially about about them tracking your payments, because then people will know that you're sketch, right? Hold on. Let me tell you something, man. Hey, if I got left behind, hey, man, I want to be in a show called Left Behind Catch Up. Come on. That's what's going to happen. I was like, hey, Lord, you forgot about me, you asshole. Don't strike me with lightning. Now, what happens? I got to stay down here when the devil runs everything and it's going to be nothing but like crime and drugs and orgies. And you know what? Can you put me on that list to stay here? I want to prophesy to people. That's what I want to do. Come on. It's just saying.
You're just admitting to being crazy.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, man, that's the easiest way. Because admitting to being crazy means you ain't crazy at all.
I'm quite comfortable with that.
I'm
When it is all over, half the world.
Oh my God, don't look directly into hell. It makes your eyes suck right out of your skull. And then there's little stems on the back. It pulls your spine out stuff. And then the rest of you follows through. It's really painful. I saw it on a Japanimation once.
Will be dead.
This is the biggest news story since the vanishing.
Well, yeah, but all them people that vanished are going to miss this story, ain't they? I mean, come on. Right? For shit. You guys know what I'm talking about. This is, was it God or Thanos? That's a good question, chat room. I think it was, this making God look like a very picky Thanos. Like he snapped and only the people he liked got the fuck out of there. That's weird. Did half the animals go?
You listen to me. You drag
I'm not listening.
this line of nonsense into the public eye. We're both.
And we're going to shoot you right in the dumpster. Owie, man. You ever been shot right in the dumpster? It sucks. I'm not going to lie. And the worst part is when they pull the bullet out or whatever, you got to bite down on a leather strap or something. That's just wrong.
Finished. Now I'm more like an actor.
Truth is what you see. There's a theme song for you and fucking me.
The Antichrist will declare himself as God.
Oh, yeah, that's what the Bible says. Like if he doesn't do it, literally Jesus can't come back. You do realize that, right? I don't want to nitpick or anything, but literally he has to do it. And if he doesn't do it because somebody stops him from doing it, Jesus can't come back. So you're kind of, by trying to stop everybody who's helping the Antichrist declare that he's God, are also helping Jesus come back. I know I'm troubled. I'm troubled by the whole thing. I don't understand how in the world people don't know this. It's like, you don't realize Judas was the fucking good guy, right? Because somebody had to do it. Shit.
Like a stretch even for them.
Open the door to heaven. Let me in. Open the blue door. I want to be raptured. And sin. I'd like to do both, please.
How do we know who we can trust?
Trust God.
The world.
That's right. Hey, that's a good point, man. Trust God. That's what you do. And, the guy who sucked up all the good people and left you behind in a hellscape, trust that dude.
This suffering. We are on the brink of mass insanity.
What happened?
Well, I mean, you're in a predestined negative outcome put forth in the Bible. So, yeah. You ain't nuts. The world's gone mad.
To the rest of us.
Doesn't it seem strange that it's still so easy to dismiss it, even though we saw it?
You didn't see it. If you saw it, why the fuck did you ask the other dude, the black fella in the church who saw it? He said he saw it. You saw it secondhand. This is fake news, motherfucker. That's what this is. Come on now. Shit. So that's the trailer for the movie that he's on there pitching.
And I understand there are like 20 spots left. People can literally go on this trip with you to Israel.
Wow, really? Awesome. I can't wait. Can we go to Africa afterwards and kill an endangered species? Super.
We did it in 2019. It was hugely successful. I've been back 2 more times since then.
I can't get over how much he sounds like Marco Rubio now. It's so fucking weird. It's obviously something in the water in Florida. I'm not going anymore.
To do documentaries, but my wife and I decided to do it again. It's May. What are we going? May 17th through the 28th. It's walking the footsteps of Jesus. It's a bucket list trip, guys. We've got the 3 best guides in the whole country. You're going to see some most amazing things.
By the way, this is a service in Israel if you go there, and they sign up celeb ambassadors. John Boyd has done this multiple times. Like the Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs crowd attaches themselves to a certain thread of evangelicals and brings them over specifically for this.
When we travel through the country. So please join us. Sorbo Israel Trip.
Oh, I'll be there.
.com. I'll be there with my wife and my kids as well.
I have to grow a beard first because my public demands it.
You and I both know as conservatives, we know, and as conservative Christians, we know that that's the problem.
Also, label upon label. You and I know that as labels who use labels and label, that labels behave like labels do. But the meaning of it is really up to the labeler.
Promised land. Israel and Christianity, we don't have a conflict. Yet for some reason in our society today, there is this push to make us believe that right-wing people, conservative people, traditional American values people don't like Jews. And that
yes, that push would be by Kanye West.
The Jews somehow have to align with the political left in this country.
Yeah, that's not what's being said. What's being said by someone who just had dinner with the dude that you guys would both crawl through broken glass to feather tickle his butthole with your tongue. The guy who had dinner with that guy said that Hitler was right and did a lot of good things and the Holocaust didn't happen. So fuck you. There's not a concerted effort by the media. This isn't the left doing this at all. None of us were like, if only Kanye West would leap forward as a giant anti-Semite.
That seems like bizarro world to me. Why do you think that is?
Because Kanye West and Nick Fuentes and Milo Yiannopoulos and some other fucker just had dinner with Trump, and when Trump denied knowing Nick Fuentes, he never decried anything that he said, and then he's only referred to Kanye West as troubled.
I'd love to know why there's such a thing, an attack on Israel. I don't get it.
You'll have to ask Kanye, because
our trip. I got to see if we can get this picture and if you can even see it.
Oh, we can. Yeah, perfect.
That is us at the posing.
Beautiful.
At the embassy there.
Yeah, giving it like Shaka Brutta ganja.
In Israel, with Trump's name on that plaque right there.
So you truly are walking in the footsteps of Jesus.
This is when he finally moved the embassy over to Jerusalem, when all these other presidents before him didn't want to do it. And then he went in and got in office. I think he did it in the first 5 minutes he was in office.
Right, that's right.
It was just, but it's amazing.
No, but whatever.
So like I said, I hope people join us on the trip. But why people are doing this, why this hateful thing? I mean, I've got a buddy of mine who's in the Israeli army over there, and he sent me photos of on the other side, that people taking shots all the time in Israel. They actually put little kids in front of them, use them as human shields.
Oh my God.
Hey, asshole, that's not what he's talking about. He's not talking about Palestinians. He's talking about Kanye fucking West and the people rushing on their side of the aisle to support what Kanye is saying. Because there's a lot of big names, and kudos to them on the Republican side for coming out and unequivocally calling it bullshit and saying it's wrong and saying nobody who espouses that or even has dinner with an asshole like that should think about running for president again, because they're not going to make it. And then there's a bunch of people who are going, well, I mean, in all fairness, that's what he's talking about, fucko.
God.
Human shields. That's what they're doing on the other side of that border.
And by the way, as you already know, you already mentioned this, but I think 12 presidents promised as they ran for president they would move to Jerusalem. They did.
No, it's been a running thing for years. The presidents weren't running on the idea of moving the embassy. The fuck are you talking about?
He did it. He was told the entire Middle East would melt down. Not only did it not melt down, it led to the Abraham Accords.
No, not related at all.
Where you've actually got Israel being recognized by parts of the Middle East, something.
Okay. No, the other countries recognize its existence. They just didn't have commercial trade in between. That's the $2 billion that Jared carved out for himself.
That Joe Biden is undoing right now. But
first of all, no one is undoing the recognition, like Qatar's relationship with fucking Israel. Nobody cares.
Is there any reason you can think, though, that American Jews would align with the left in this country when clearly people like you and I are those who support Israel?
Maybe because their priority is Americans and American policy, and that, that would be the primary one. I mean, are there reasons why every Irish person in this fucking country wasn't supporting the IRA?
Well, all I can tell you is maybe they're atheists and agnostic Jews. They're not practicing Jews.
Okay.
That's all I can think of, because when I was over there,
yes, they have no faith. So it's, and not to question anyone's faith, but except for Jews in America.
Israel loved President Trump. They love him. They love everything he's done. It was totally opposite.
Yeah, it couldn't possibly be that Kevin Sorbo only walks in and around groups of people who would give Trump a taint hickey.
Different feel over there. So
it does have a different feel over there. I agree.
I would have to think most of the Hollywood Jewish community, which is quite large.
Oh, getting fairly close there. The Hollywood Jewish community, which is quite large, would what now, son? They do what now?
They
don't have true faith. They're not real Jews.
They just don't want to like people on the right. When you know what?
Yeah, that's what it is. They just don't want to like people on the right. It's not that they think shit through or care about policy differences or any of that stuff. They just don't want to like people on the right. It's just a thing.
You look at the
yes, a taint hickey. You heard it. I made that up just now, today. You're welcome. I'm sorry.
Warner Brothers, you look at the Jewish population that's still...
Oh, boy. This is getting tough, man. Oh, no. Oh, we're getting into the sour grapes of why I don't have a career anymore conversation from Kevin Sorbs. You can see the look on his face where he's just trying to find a way to say something awful in a way that doesn't get him in trouble. Watch this. Fucking hell. By the way, don't forget to like and subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. Yay.
Jewish community, which is quite large.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't want to like people on the right.
Yeah, but it's got to go further than that. Please expound on that, Joey. Let him go.
You know what? You look at the Warner Brothers, you look at the Jewish population that still pretty much runs Hollywood.
Right.
Oh. This can't, fuck me. This cannot end well. We're watching a dude. Yeah, exactly. Can't stop lying. Wonder why he likes MAGA and Trump. Like, this dude is trying to be like he's the Vanilla Ice of Kanye West's. How do I do what that guy does so that people can dance to the same tune, but in a really like dumbed down, goofy way? Whew.
All my agents and managers have always been Jewish. I don't have.
Oh dear.
Have the thing against that whatsoever.
Right.
And
right. Like you don't really, because my agent was fucking Greek. And his boss, who was my agent before him, was Hispanic and arguably Catholic and gay.
They were all conservative. It's really the 1960s changed things in Hollywood.
Oh, that's right. So we're talking about when Kevin Sorbo had an agent in the 60s. Yes, because Jews could move freely and do anything they wanted before those darn 60s came along. By the way, can I remind everyone that these assholes were started off by touting the fact that Trump was a nice guy because of golfing and his golf clubs, which, by the way, previous to this period when he's talking about when suddenly there was a weird change in the Jews couldn't even fucking go to those places. And it was Democrats who fought for their right to do it and Republicans who fought to keep them out. And who still argue, Rand Paul still argues that if a business wants to keep people out because they're Jews, they should have every right to. Which they shouldn't. Fuck you.
When you had the Vietnam War, the free love, the hippie movement, the rock and roll thing,
The rock and roll thing. That's what it was. I blame Kiss. Two of my favorite Jews, if I have to pick some, Gene and Paul. Now, obviously, they made the mistake of pairing up with a Catholic and I suppose a raised Christian atheist in the case of Peter Criss. Italian, raised Catholic, played in swing bands, and then Ace Frehley, raised God knows what. So Yeah, so 50% Jewish. I don't know if that throws a monkey wrench in his control of Hollywood idea.
Reasons those all combined together, Hollywood became more and more liberal, and it's just accelerated on itself since the 60s.
Dude, you didn't have a career before then. The fuck are you talking about?
His movie is coming out in January called Left Behind, Rise of the Antichrist. LeftBehindMovie.com is where you can go get more information. It's going to be January.
By the way, there is no period in fucking history where anybody would pay to see a Left Behind novel that isn't a hardcore evangelical lunatic. Movies like this famously were only shown in mega churches and big churches that had fucking reel-to-reel projectors. I know, because I used to sit through the fucking things. When I was born again, when I was 11 years old, our little Christian church in Peaks Mill, every so often, a traveling preacher would come through with a movie that they had made, or we'd have a Wednesday night fellowship, and there'd be a movie, and the movie would be one of these kind of we'd occasionally watch something like the 10 Commandments, but a lot of times there were these kind of low res 60s biblical movies about faith and a lot of witchcraft, winky wink. There's a lot of pulp fiction, quite frankly, with a Christian moral attached to it at the end. But these would never end up in fucking theaters. The Left Behind movies never got in the fucking theater because there's not an audience for them, because it's lunacy. And it's not just lunacy, but for most run-of-the-mill Christians, the Left Behind novels are fucking heresy. They're extra biblical bullshit artists making money off a specific slice of Christianity.
January 26th on 1,100 screens. Make sure you go and do that. If you want to travel to Israel with Kevin Sorbo and his family, SorboIsraelTrip.com. Go there. There's some spots still open.
Really? There's spots still open? I'm shocked.
I ask you about Twitter.
Yeah, ask us about Twitter, please, because he's the man who knows.
And by the way, you're K Sorbs on Twitter, right?
Oh, he so is.
K-Sorbs, yeah. Because my buddy called me Sorbs. I just put it in there. I didn't know it was going to grow the way it did because I just do these little jokes.
Well, I follow you. You don't follow me. Nothing. Whatever, Kevin. Okay, you're big time. John Cena followed me today. Do you know John Cena?
Yes, we call him John Sheena because he sucked up to the CCP so strongly. Now he has finally seen the light and started moving away from them. But mainly he was, he made the mistake of saying Taiwan was a country and then apologized in one of the most embarrassing ways to the CCP to make sure that Fast and Furious 6 or 7, whatever it was, would get distribution.
I don't know. I think I met the guy one time.
Yeah, I've never met him, but I when you look through his feed, he follows a lot of conservatives quietly. It's very interesting because he's...
Yes, and he's also a CCP suck-up, or was.
He's got like 14 million followers, and big names like that, I'm getting wind more and more, and I wonder if you are as well, that they do lean conservative, at least have a conservative interest in what it is that they want to hear and see.
I'm not kidding that people call him John Sheena, as in Xi Jinping.
And consume. Is that more prevalent than we...
Was it for WWE, Cena? Because he was also in the movie at the same time.
Regular people know out of Hollywood and out of big sports and everything?
I get people on both sides of the camera when I'm shooting a movie coming up to me and say, thanks for being a voice for us.
Nice.
And I go, why don't you be a voice for yourself? But they're all...
By the way, he's only doing movies for these people, by these people. They're all going to say that. He directed, produced, and starred in this fucking movie. Everybody's going to kiss his ass.
Great. Look, it's not only Hollywood that uses fear as a weapon. Our government uses it as well.
Yes.
Yeah, and the Bible certainly doesn't. Sorry. What the fuck is Left Behind, Rise of the Antichrist, if not fear as a weapon?
Saw it in full display during the COVID fear factor that, the world's coming to an end. And the government loves to rule us by fear. And unfortunately, too many people fall into that trap of just believing everything government says.
Nobody does. Nobody ever anywhere believes everything government says. Calm the fuck down.
I'm a firm believer in what Ronald Reagan said, that the greatest words to fear are, hi, I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
Yeah.
The greatest words to fear are, oh, God. Yeah, just paraphrase and move on.
Exactly right. When it comes to...
No, not exactly right, fucko. Are both of these assholes suggesting that people who are in a fucking flood, are sitting on their rooftop, should, if a FEMA boat shows up, should question whether they're government employees before deciding to get in the fucking boat? Shut the fuck up.
Free speech and Twitter, you've been attacked mercilessly because you're unabashed in what your beliefs are.
No, because he's a douchebag.
You're a traditional American values guy, you're a conservative guy, and you're not afraid to say that.
But you're also embarrassingly unemployable, and yet are still full of yourself in this kind of hugely egotistical way, like Hollywood fucking owes you. That's why. I think there's a primary reason why Sorbs takes so much, and I think we're friends, takes so much heat, is because he's such a dick about how much Hollywood apparently owes him attention.
Do you feel vindicated at all that Elon Musk is releasing all the stuff that you and I knew was happening last year or 2 years ago?
No, he isn't. He's not releasing any of the correspondence between the Trump White House and Twitter, which would be a violation of the First Amendment when they asked for things to be changed. He's only releasing conversations allegedly around the Biden campaign, which was a private entity, because he's a wuss.
One of my tweets was, hey, does anybody have any more conspiracy theories? Because mine keep coming true. You know, so
that's so good.
I think what I put out there,
it is so good. It is good. You should be a writer. You should write your own stuff. You should write and star in your own stuff. You should write.
You know, with the latest election thing going on again, certainly there was no voter fraud again. But when I look at Fetterman,
oh, Lord,
winning the state of Pennsylvania
right
over Dr. Oz, I said, you've got to be kidding me. So I said, here's the best ticket for 2024. Biden and Fetterman. It's a no-brainer. That's what I posted on Twitter, too.
That would have got you suspended just a few months ago, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Look, Facebook took me down a year and a half ago for posting the truth about COVID. I could say the same things today and they wouldn't be able to take me down because they're all back.
By the way, what was the truth about COVID?
Tracking slowly more and more every month now.
And he might mean lab leak theory, or it might be ivermectin, or both.
Well, Kevin, they want to...
Lab leak stuff, again, you guys know, can I say for the record, when the lab leak theory started coming out, one of the right-wing storylines was that it came from the lab and it was designed on purpose as a bioweapon, which, if that is indeed the case, Donald Trump is the worst president we have ever had, and criminally negligent because he allowed near 1 million people to be killed plus by a bioweapon, and he continued to get money from and canoodle with and share with the people who actually attacked us, something that Chamberlain never did. So, but for the record, if you'll recall back in the beginning of it, having been in China, my first reaction was, I wouldn't be surprised if it was natural or part of gain of function, but that it got out through the wet market because there's a tendency for people to use graft in those areas, and low-level corruption happens all the time. And it's completely reasonable that somebody went, look at all these dead animals, they're good eating, why don't I sell them under the table at the wet market? Because people will pay for these. And some of them were infected, and there you go. That's enough. That was enough of it. Now, the difference in that situation would be that the gain of function aspect of it, which Biden and Obama cut off and Trump restarted, if you'll recall, he restarted gain of function research, or okayed it, and turned off those limitations. And he cut funding at that point. Now, at that point, because the Obama-Biden administration had stopped the gain of function stuff and made it illegal, essentially, the only money that was going to Wuhan was for security. And if indeed these animals, these dead animals, were sold at the wet market, and that was the way it got into into humanity, then it was Donald Trump cutting funding that stopped the level of security that they would need. They no longer had the quality of security they previously had, which led to the sales of those dead animals in the wet market. Even if these were, like, again, animals trapped that had natural viruses in them, whatever the source is. And again, if they're making the case that it was created, they have to understand that they're calling it a bioweapon. Under their own definition, Donald Trump was the worst president to ever handle anything. I personally don't believe it was specifically made to attack. I think they were doing gain of function research previously and had effectively stopped. And there might have just been like a growth factor experiment that they continued to do there. But ultimately, it wasn't because they took it out there and like, now attack. It was simple, low-level thievery. And that would have been stopped by proper security at the Wuhan lab. And Donald Trump cut funding. No matter how you slice it, Donald Trump is right at the pivot point for it. If any of it coming from the Wuhan lab is even remotely true, accidental or on purpose, Donald Trump is a pivotal factor in its impact on America and the rest of the world. Period.
Amnesty, haven't you heard?
Hold on. I have a cat hair on the tip of my nose, and it keeps floating up and touching it again. It's annoying me. I'm fine.
Anybody who said anything about COVID, suddenly we're finding out the real adverse effects of these jabs. We're finding out really that it did come from the Wuhan lab, and they want to give amnesty.
And by the way, they float this all the time, that it, quote, really did come from the Wuhan lab. Because with it, part and parcel of their description is that it intentionally came from the Wuhan lab, that it was made, that they get to float, talk about the conspiracy theories. And he's like, oh my, all mine keep coming true. Okay, they want, the premise is that this was made on purpose to destroy the world, like to depopulate the earth. But they don't have to say that. They can just say it came from the lab. That, you know, and the difference between if it was an accidental release versus an intentional release, there's a lot packed into both. Interestingly enough, if it was intentional or accidental, Donald Trump played a pivotal role in making it happen.
To everybody who misled us and led a lot of people to their deaths, to be honest. What do you think about that? Should we just let's just wipe the slate clean? You didn't do anything wrong.
No. You got to pay for it. You realize that there's like 67% of people that have been the shot, the jab, the follow-up, all that kind of stuff. 67% of those people are the ones who are dying and getting COVID still.
Yes.
Okay. The earliest people who got it or got multiple jabs are also the people with the highest comorbidities. So statistically, you're going to see people who have a higher chance of dying from it, who got it early, may have even gotten the Johnson & Johnson or the AstraZeneca, because again, it's worldwide. Some of them didn't work. And other ones are just people who have comorbidities that are going to lead to their deaths. That's why they were in the front of the line. That's why it was, as a matter of fact, they got it to people who needed it first. So statistically, and again, 67%. As the number tracks down, and this is if you just pretend China's numbers are true, which they fucking aren't. China has lost millions of people. Piss off with this 4,000 number nonsense. But the premise that he's making is that, you know, these people who've gotten multiple jabs are the people who are dying from COVID or whatever. No, they are dying because they already had comorbidities. Their lives may have been even extended by the fact that they got the vaccine and didn't die from that, but they still were in tough shape.
No, it's true.
No, it isn't.
And when you ask about who's dying now, the big media still wants to spin it that it's the unvaccinated. It's not. They're even having doctors come on to say, well, they're under-vaccinated. They didn't get enough boosters. I guess you need like 7 now.
No. By the way, this is left over from Delta.
And then you won't.
They're still using stats from Delta.
Die. The fact is, we're finding out what the truth is, and with the Republicans taking over the House, hopefully we can get some oversight and get something done. By the way,
oh yeah, please, Republicans, dive in. Waste your fucking time. Look at go after Peter Daszak and all these fuckers who were friendly with the Wuhan lab and all that kind of stuff, and you'll get all sorts of red meat for your people about that. But also look into what the actual statistics on, like, AstraZeneca and Johnson & Johnson versus Moderna and Pfizer, and the effectiveness of those, and the number of people who died who didn't have it, didn't have any vaccination whatsoever. And now, as a larger swath of the populace is vaccinated, then you'll see that larger people, the biggest group of people who are dying are vaccinated, because that's the biggest group of fucking people, and people in mass. If 70% of people have long fingernails and 30% of people have short fingernails, more people with long fingernails will die than people with short fingernails. That's how statistics work. That's exactly the bullshit game these guys are playing.
Go and follow him right now, K Sorbs on Twitter, and go to leftbehindmovie.com. Again, this January, the 26th.
Oh, I'm believe me, I'm champing at the bit.
1,100 screens will show the movie Left Behind.
Oh my God, do I have to go to all of them?
Behind Rise of the Antichrist. You mentioned Reagan a couple of times. You've got a Reagan movie coming out as well. What's the progress on that?
I do. I think it's coming out in the spring. Dennis Quaid plays the president. I play his pastor in it.
Oh dear.
Got another movie coming out.
Wait, didn't this come out earlier? Didn't Dennis Quaid already play Reagan, or did we just see the clips from it earlier this year?
Called Miracle in East Texas, true story set in 1930. I directed that one as well with John Ratzenberger and Tyler Main.
Nice.
And Lou Gossett Jr. is in that one. And
Lou Gossett Jr. is all over the Left Behind movies.
I've got a great place to go for Christmas gifts, guys, with my books, my wife's books, our DVDs, everything. SorboStudios.com.
Oh, dear.
SorboStudios.com.
He never lets me audition for any of his stuff. I don't know why the right-wing Hollywood is trying to shut down independent voices.
We got some great deals going right now. We got some wonderful, wonderful items. We got.
You don't think I'd make a good Antichrist in one of his movies? You don't think so? I mean, isn't he charming? Kind of dark? Just saying. Come on. Cast me. I'll do it. Why has he got to be blonde? What do you got against, what's this anti-blonde blue eyes thing? Why can't the devil have long dark hair and brown eyes?
Hercules paraphernalia. We've got
not Hercules paraphernalia. You mean like bongs?
Memories from Andromeda. All kinds of good stuff on the site.
Was there a time when you decided I'm going to be open and out about how I feel about things that you were afraid?
Yes. Did you come out of the closet?
You wouldn't get work because Sorbo, you're working nonstop. It's as if you've got project after project. Did you worry about it or not?
No. He found a niche where he can play the victim, and there's funding there, so he just hammers it even harder.
I didn't even think about it at the time. It was about 11, 12 years ago.
Thank you, Tyne Britt. I agree. I would be a terrific Lucifer. I don't know how to take that, but I will.
I started being more vocal on the internet and all that. And my wife,
not on the internet,
said, "You better look out. They'll come after you." And I go, "Well, why can't I have a different point of view? Why do I have to follow all the sheep of Hollywood?" You know.
You don't. It's just when you're a douchebag about it.
No, I'm here to wake up the lions. But she's.
I see. It's all the sleeping lion's fault. You got to be kind of biggity and fucked up.
Right. I got called in my manager and agent, and after all the years I worked with them, they said we can't work with you anymore because apparently if you're a Christian and a conservative in Hollywood, you're a double leper. So
okay, first of all, there's no fucking way they said that. And so, being that bearing false witness is a sin, again, think about the narrative that we're seeing, besides the fact that his sword is going through his head right now, which is hilarious. That he previously told us that his managers and agents were Jews, and now he's told us that they called them into they called him into their office and said, "You can't work in Hollywood because you're a Christian and a conservative. Sorry, bye."
So that's what kind of took me out of Hollywood. But, I love the business. I've made great contacts through the decades I've been involved, 40 years in this business. And I've been doing most of my movies on my own. I've shot over 46 movies since I left my agent. I've shot over 70 movies total in my life. So I'm.
Yeah. So what you're saying is the movies you shot after you left your Jew agent are cheaper and quicker and easier to make.
Already booked for 4 movies next year. I shot 3 movies over a year.
Already booked for 4 movies next year that I'm writing and starring in and doing myself with Christian conservative money. And
a year ago, they're all coming out this year. I shot 4 movies this year. They'll be coming out.
Yeah, you're the neo-Christian Steven Seagal. We get it.
Late next year or early 2024. So knock on wood, I'm staying busy.
Hold on one second. I want to see something real quick. Here we go. Where is it? Hold on. Sorry, Clean Flicks online, I guess. Oh, it's Pure Flicks. That's what it is. Clean Flicks is where they just edit movies. Pure Flicks. Yeah, here you go. This is where most of his shit comes from. I'm not signing up with a plan. Pure Flicks. Let's go. Let's back to this. Here you go. Faith and Family Streaming. Sons of the Redemption. Prince. The Pirates of Who Don't Do Anything. Okay, great. Pure Originals. Unlikely Angel. God Is Not Dead. These are the movies. Sons of Thunder. Coming Home. Pure Drama. The Chosen. That's the series he was talking about. Pure Family. It's a Meaningful Life. With VeggieTales. Switched. The Greatest Inheritance. Letters to God. The Stray. Get started now. I still have questions. 7-day free trial. So yeah, all of the movies, it's basically just that. Like there's a whole industry.
God bless America. There's the. I got that painted from a commander of the Chinook helicopter in Afghanistan. He painted that and sent that to me.
That's beautiful.
It's adorable.
Let me take your name down a second so people can see that. Beautiful. Kevin, it's interesting because you keep talking about who's in these movies along with you, and of course you're a humongous star.
Huge, humongous, ginormous. And can I check that off as I said you're a humongous star, and that was why you would actually be on the show today?
Louis Gossett Jr., what an incredible actor. John Ratzenberger, we all love John Ratzenberger. So you got these people who are not afraid to put their names on it now. Has that
yes, some because the money is so good and they could just crank these fucking things out.
that been gradual, or was that from the beginning?
I think it's becoming more and more gradual. I think you're right there. I mean,
yes, it is becoming more and more gradual. I mean, it's getting harder for people to say yes, and so you're reusing the same people over and over again.
I think Lou Gossett and I are probably on different sides of the political fence, but
right, he needs the money.
You know, he's a great guy, and I don't harbor anger towards him. He doesn't harbor towards me. I got friends who are liberal. I got friends who are atheist. We still get along.
Yeah, do you though?
It's that other percentage that it's really the smaller percentage we give the biggest voice to. They're the super squeaky wheel, and we give them all this power.
Thanks. That's very sweet. I mean, I'm not an atheist, but I appreciate you seeing that my wheels squeak.
I mean, really, it's just it's sad and it's mind-boggling to me that we're letting the world fall apart like this. But
yes, and why do people just let the world fall apart? Why do they keep shopping and going to baseball games and football games and watching soccer and having Thanksgiving? Why won't they just let the world seize up like we told them it was going to?
It is, but I think there's a turning point. I think we keep talking about the silent majority, but people need to keep waking up. Like I said earlier, we need to have the lions wake up and not be afraid to roar.
And that's
by the way, I'm bored with this already, and we don't need to even stay on it. I'm already over my time, and these ugh.